preserve, and people don't realize that even in the middle and upper middle, they just don't want to discuss that they have failure or an
Right.
embarrassment
Right.
to the
Comparison to
family.
the family.
And yet it's more of an embarrassment because then the Johnson and Johnson is another family
Right.
that the father sexually introduced all his daughters. He was the first one that had sex with. It is Johnson and Johnson,
Johnson.
family.
Yeah.
So but mine is Chitty Chitty Baby. I can't watch Chitty Chitty Baby to this
You got
day.
something? You got something?
No, but I just want to say how you were saying about with her and the fries. I think that makes sense now because
Yeah.
I never thought about it, but every time you get fries, she does that, and I never thought about it until
Really?
you just said
Wow.
something because it's like she'd be like, I don't want that, these are cold, and then she does it every time. And I
They're
never even thought about it
offensive. It's a
until you
trigger.
said something about it like that, and it's like it's kind of strange because every time I ask her, I'll be like, Mom, like what's wrong? Because my daughter would normally be like, they're fine or something, but she is something with the fries. I never.
I left the fries in
because
the
it's
car.
always like
I left
that.
my
though.
burger and fries
It's
in the
always
car
like
So
that
that.
you left the
When
fries
that
on the
happened?
table.
Yeah, when that happened, I
Wow.
just wanted to get out the car, so I just left. I left the food in the car.
And when you, I
And
mean,
I probably remembered the
But
food.
I've always wondered, like, what, I mean, I've always been wondering that, like, because even the last time it happened, I was like, why are you always getting like that? But now that you said it like that, it's like, that does make sense, because that's not like the first time. It's like, normally with fries, it's like, she doesn't like that. Or if her food comes out and it's cold, she doesn't, it's a problem.
it
It's
makes so
something.
much sense. I mean, she wrote it in her story. It's so specific. Burger and fries. You know, who would have even thought to have said that, except for the fact that that was part of that.
I mean,
That's part of that vivid memory, and that's part of that trauma. So.
And that's
And you probably didn't even notice there was
No.
no Burger King. But
No.
but I remember that he asked you to go
You have to go get a burger.
burger. That's how he got you in the car.
Yeah.
And then when you stepped out,
Yeah. I just
you left the burgers and the fries.
Yeah, and it's just like the burger and the fries and the lifesavers, and they seem so innocent,
Wow.
and you know, just basic things that a child might say. Oh yeah, it's like, you know, they used to say, don't take candy from strangers. Well,
Yeah.
don't take candy from family members when they want to put you alone in a room or in
Yeah.
a place where it might be dangerous. But adults, and especially if they're criminally minded or sexually deviant, they know how to appeal to children, you know, by candy, by a hamburger, by let's go, I'll take you to the
Jewelry.
park.
Yes.
Whatever it is, you know, it can be so insignificant monetarily and yet such a big deal to that young child in their mind. It's like they fall for it. And like pedophiles, they're professional groomers. I mean, they can groom children
Yeah.
for months.
Yeah.
You know, easing them into
Before they even do it, yeah.
into that
They had
situation
that-
where they're
yeah.
comfortable.
They had
and
that
trust
teacher.
person.
They had that
Yeah.
teacher that actually, because also we have a lot of kids that are sort of lost. I happen
Yeah,
to have been very
okay.
lucky when my parents got divorced. I lived with a very good village. My neighbors next door, my neighbors in front. So I have to say that though I didn't live a Brady Bunch kind of life because I had a crazy father, but I lived a very good childhood. But that's because I had a village to watch out. So even when I was 30, my neighbor next door was like my grandmother. She knew my schedule, and she would call me. She was, "Why are you home? Aren't you supposed to be working? Why is your boyfriend's car out front of your house?" You know, it's. And I used
Yeah.
to say, "Oh my God!" It's a safety net that I took for granted.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm like you too, because a lot of
Oh,
times when I
yeah.
explain to people like my childhood, they're like, "That's some kind of fantasy land stuff." Like,
Yeah.
and especially now, like that I've been I got engaged last time. It didn't work out, but
Oh.
that's kind of why, because like a lot of things that was in my family, like it's not the same in his. Like I'm like, okay, we didn't get disciplined like that. We didn't do this stuff. My parents didn't show me that they were kissing and doing all this stuff, so I just thought life was like on TV where your parents had one bed and the other one slept in the other bed. Like I believed that all the way until I graduated. Like I didn't even know they still had sex and stuff like that. So it's like for him, when I met him, he was just like, there's no way that you're 30 years old and you still don't know this stuff, man. And I'm like, well, hey man, like I know, but it's like my parents only allowed me to see so much. Like it was like I never really took the time to ask people like, oh well, how is your like what does your family do this, like, oh you're getting hit with like cords and stuff, like what in the world, like I just stuff that's not normal to me. It's like it's normal to them. I'm like, okay, well, when we got in trouble, like my parents talked to us, but they're like, well, when we got in trouble, my parents cussed. I'm like, well, we didn't hear cussing and all that. Like, we didn't grow up like that. So it's like kind of like how she was like the fairy tale thing. Like that's what I was expecting, like just a fairy tale lifestyle. But it's like the way that you grew up, it does affect you when you're older, because it's like the things that your parents see. Because I noticed like a lot of times with my mom, like with her and the incident with the fries, like I'll get like that, but it depends on like certain situations, especially like if people aren't listening to me or believing me. And I was in domestic violence relationships, so I think that's part of my PTSD, like when people are not listening to me, because every time someone's not listening to me, oh, I'm gonna hit you because you're not saying something. So every time that I'm trying to get my point across and no one's listening, it's like, then that's my breaking point. Like that's when I just like lose it, and then I just like panic, and it's like it's not good for me. But like just the way that I was brought up is so different from what the real world is. It's like it's kind of like something that I have to like figure out. Like even though I'm 30 years old, it's like I'm still growing up, because it's like I was just raised up to believe everything was so good. Like she was saying, her lifestyle was so good. Like I never even knew that you had to pay for water and lights. Like I mean, that's the kind of life that I had. So it's like I didn't know.
She gave us to the realistic.
But
like
see,
I
my
said,
parents
a
got divorced when I was
village
older,
helped me, 'cause
so-
my mom had 3 jobs, but I have to say I'm a product of a
See, my mom
village.
didn't even work.
That's
Like
powerful.
she didn't have a job. Like she just was home all the time. She started a daycare like when I was a little kid. But then after that, like she never worked until my parents split up. But by that time, I was already like in my 20s. So it's like I'm just kind of like seeing everything for what it is now, versus like most people, you see that when you're a kid. It's like I'm like, okay, well now I'm seeing all this stuff. Now I see I gotta keep paying for car insurance. Now I see like stuff is important, but it's like I like the way that you portray things and your kids see everything, your stressful moments, all that stuff, like it all plays an effect. And with me meeting the guy that I was engaged to, it's like he kind of pointed a lot of things out to me that's like I never really realized, because he was like, man, you just think life is just a joke. And it was like I never really thought about it until you mentioned it, and it was like I guess he's right. Like I do think everything is like fun. Like everything is fun. Like I never see anything bad. Like my leg can be cut and I'll just be like, oh well, let's just go to the thing, like it's okay. Like I'll just be like so happy about it. But it's like now it's like I'm seeing like, okay, well there is a effect to everything that happens. So I can't always, like I can always still be happy and upgoing about things, but I have to see things for what they really are. I can't just keep putting on this blindfold like everything is going to be perfect. I have to actually like open my eyes and see like this is how it is. And then another thing, like you were saying about the men, like how they groom the children and stuff, I think a lot of men are able to see things, like I don't even know how, but like I feel like they know as a woman like what you've been through. There's certain words or something that they listen for or however, because then once they find out, it's like they use certain things against you. Like okay, they know you've been abused, so they're gonna talk to you a certain way or try to do things just a certain way so they can get what they want. Like even if they know somebody's been raped, like okay, I'm gonna talk to them this way and make sure I don't do certain, like I mean they're like, guys are just predators in a sense. They know how to manipulate to get the things that they want. You have a few good guys out there that really have your well-being in mind, but a lot of men are just like basically trying to groom you as a woman to be what they want you to be. So it's like you kind of always have to keep your eyes open and just keep your eyes open at any age. That's the crazy part, because it's like it doesn't matter if you're a young kid getting attacked or you can be an adult at any age. I mean, like you were saying, men are women, like women are taking advantage of men are taking advantage of women. So it's like it's just like an ongoing cycle, like she said. Like it's just never ending cycle. Like if something happens to someone, they're gonna continue to do it thinking it's okay, like she said
It's
with
a
her
learned
mom.
behavior.